Today, we'll be taking a look at how lucky cat garage builder Seb Lorentz took an old 90s BMW R100 RS and turned it into something that should be fired from a cannon. We've never seen a bike design like this one. The dustbin fairing and vintage one-off parts used in this sprint machine is hard to believe. So racers, start your engines and let's get to know this fast-paced Caferacer. The inspiration for a bike build can come from the most unlikely of sources. In the case of this most unusual BMW sprint bike, it was a vintage M&H Racemaster drag tire. The tire belonged to the amiable Seb Lorentz of the Lucky Cat Garage, a familiar face on the European custom show circuit. While Seb was figuring out what to do with the slick, his family provided the answer. They bought him an Airtech dustbin fairing as a present. All Seb needed now was a frame, 2 wheels and an engine. Seb is not only an accomplished builder, but also works for BMW Motorrad France, and so the Sprint Beamer was born, a bike focused on speed and acceleration with a hefty dash of style. It has to look fast to frighten competitors, he laughs. The goal was audacious, to win the Star Wars sprint race at the huge Glensec 101 festival in Germany. The Sprint Beamer is built around a rigid BMW 2 frame with a lightly tuned RS boxer engine. Gearing comes from an inverted 92 R100 gearbox, and a slick square drag tire on a lightened hub manages traction in the rear. With no need for a speedo, the only instrument delivering info to the rider is a sit-su tachometer nestled in behind the aerodynamic dustbin-style fairing. Sprint Beamer is a cocktail of parts from the 50s to the 90s, with an S1000 RR superbike battery hiding in there somewhere. The modified chassis was an R52 in a previous life, and the shortened fork and front stoppers have been swiped from the R75-5. Seb added an air scoop and vent holes to the drum brake, and machined the wheel hub to save weight. The star of the show is the engine, though. It's an R100 RS motor treated to big valves, breathing through Dell'Otto PHM40 carbs. A 336 spec cam and lightened flywheel help the motor spin up fast. The clutch is essentially stock, but beefed up with an HPN ceramic plate, and the R100 odd gearbox has inverted gears for faster and easier shifting, and 1978 BMW R100 RS cases with modified R100 GS heads tuned by Edelweiss Motorsport. The swing arm is from a BMW R107, and the rear end is suspended by adjustable billet aluminum struts hidden inside vintage shock covers. Power goes through a short ratio R66 transmission. The drag slick that started it all has been mounted onto an 18-inch Morat wheel with an Avon Speedmaster wrapped around the 19-inch XL front rim. As good mileage was never a goal of the build, Seb used a barn-found tank that already had the BMW decal affixed, wishful thinking by the previous owner. Seb is not sure what the tank is though, maybe from a 1950s French or Italian sport moped. It's been treated to a high-flow petcock, an aluminum cap, and an engine temperature meter. Many of the parts used on the Sprint Beamer had to be customized to fit or attached using mounting gear fabricated by Seb and his friends in their workshop, including the brake knob, which was originally the seat knob on a Norton Commando. Seb didn't scrimp on the wheels though, with XL black anodized aluminum rims on the front, clad in 19-inch Avon Speedmaster rubber and moored black anodized aluminum at the rear, running 8-inch M&H Racemaster slicks. Just ahead are a Sitsu tachometer and Menani clip-ons, wearing black glitter, Amal-style grips, and a Domino GP throttle. The aluminum seat pan is handmade, and the silver bottle just ahead of the rear wheel is an oil catch can, a modified emergency tank from Munai's in Japan. Moving to the rear, Seb has fitted modified Vatier race headers, with open megaphones completing the package. We can only imagine how this thing must sound at full throttle. But just as the bike was coming together, luck ran out. Seb broke his leg badly in a crash and ended up in a wheelchair. Friends rallied round to help, and Sprint Beamer was finished the night before the journey over the border to Glemsek. Sylvain Berneron drove Seb and his bike to Glemsek in a truck. Sylvain then donned leathers and a helmet and sent Sprint Beamer screaming down the track to victory, adding to the trophy he won on his own Suzuki at Wheels and Waves. As winter approaches in France, Seb is rolling the BMW back into his workshop, but keep an eye out for it in the spring. With a new, shorter ratio transmission due to be installed, Sprint Beamer promises to be even faster next year. So let's take one last look at Lucky Cat's quirky R100 pocket rocket.